Oh my God. Oh my gosh, here we are. Life very natural. Oh gosh, it's so fun. Suzy, hi Suzy.
Hi, Lisen. How are you?
Good. I'm in Sweden and Suzy is at
Oh my
home in the
gosh.
States.
Oh gosh,
Oh,
it's so fun.
I have
Suzy, hi
trouble.
Suzy.
I was gonna say, is that me or you?
That was me. I didn't know I had a Facebook page open too. So I was like, I'm hearing myself double. Is this correct?
Yes, exactly. I was like, wait, did I do that?
At least it was very joyful, both of it. So that's very good.
Exactly.
Oh, I am excited. So Susan and I have been talking quite a bit lately about what's happening in October. So we thought we would invite you guys to get the energy, also to see what conversations when we have. Also, if you ever see this and have questions about what we're doing or facilitate, please let us know because it also helps us what we can talk about and share and contribute. And Suzy, you have been doing Conscious Horse, Conscious Rider for quite a bit now. I've done a couple of years, but I would, yeah, I'm so grateful that you are continuing doing it and that we have the classes because it has changed the way both I facilitate and live my life. So I'm extremely grateful for that. So yeah, Suzy, anything you would like to say about Conscious Horse, Conscious Rider?
Well, I mean, the very first time that I came to a Conscious Horse, Conscious Rider class with Gary Douglas, I had no idea really about horses that much at the time. I had ridden horses as a kid, but not, my cousin had horses. I was just riding. So it wasn't like I was really that involved. I never owned a horse or anything like that. And when Gary was facilitating that class and also using the access tools, I was really astounded how much change could be created, not just for people, but also for the animals if they had something going on. And that was always intriguing to me that, animals also can be stuck in something, some trauma they've experienced or whatever it might be, but that they can also be facilitated out of it, which is so cool to watch. And the animals are so willing to let go of everything. And so that was really, I was just standing there and observing and just being in awe of everything that was going on in the class. And in that moment, I was intrigued about it, and I had never, ever in a million years would have dreamt of being like the Conscious Horse, Conscious Rider facilitator for facilitators. I never would have thought it would get to this point, and here I am. So
Here you
it's
are.
really it's been a great journey. And like you said, Lisa, my gosh, there's so much that the horses have contributed to the way that I facilitate, to the way that I be in the world, and to the way I look at the world. And, Gary always says it. He says, everything I've ever known, I've learned from my horse. I'm starting to get what he's talking about.
Right? I was amazed because I've heard it, I think, since I started Access now 12 years. And the first time I really got it when he was asking questions to the horses and not having one conclusion in his head, not even one. And I was like, that's the space of a question. And I've perceived it before. I've seen it in action. I know about it. I understand it. But seeing it in action with the horse gave me this, it's almost like this energetic sense what it means to live it. And I was like, oh, this is a very different energy, different space to be in. And I really so grateful for him showing the tools of access consciousness in action with the horses and the contribution of both sides. That's what I love when you say the horses can also be stuck. They also have things going on. And sometimes it's our things that are going on in them and opposite and everything. And it's quite impressive to see also how much they contribute to us and what we are looking at. Or one of the things I really appreciate is them showing us what it means really to be present in our bodies and how different it becomes when I'm present. The horse is like, yes, or a dog as well, like animals, kids, it's very, almost all of them are very similar in the way they behave, but a horse is a bit of a different energy and also also much bigger. So it becomes, for me, it becomes like it's amplified. It's so clear. There's no doubt in what's showing up.
Yeah.
Um,
That's for sure. That's it's definitely Gary and Dane talk about energetic congruency, and that is one of the things that I have noticed very early on is that animals don't usually have an incongruency in the way that they're showing up. What you see is what you get. With people, people can put up a face, they can tell you something and mean something completely different. You think you had a great conversation only to find out later that they experienced it completely differently, or that whatever you said wasn't at all what got across. And so it's so interesting how often as people we get into these places where you just kind of have to shake your head and you're like, I don't know what happened here, but obviously this is not at all what was being said or being communicated. And with animals, you don't get that. It's so interesting. They are so much more, well, they're just there. And if they're having a bad hair day, you'll know about it. And if they're having a great day, you'll know about that too. And if they're depressed, you'll know it. It's just what you see is what you get. It's just right there.
there's a simplicity that is beautiful, that I think we all can learn a lot more about. But I love this incongruency that we often choose and that we have learned to choose. When our parents say, like, things I hear very often, parents say, don't worry, and they're worrying themselves. So what they come out of their mouth, they're not really embodying or being. And then it becomes like a normal thing that we all do it all the time. And when I see then the people shifting that, for example, asking about that in class, and they're connecting or asking question or talking to a horse, and it doesn't work until they're really embodying it or being it, I think it's so fun to see that. And people get when they're stuck in their head, when they have a conclusion, I remember, oh, this is so fun, a German person saying, oh, I get, you can just choose and try it out. It doesn't have to be right from the beginning. I'm like, and I think I felt so successful when a German person said that. I was like, well, this is awesome. Oh my God, I love this. Because it's really just trying. I verbalize very, very often how I talk to animals and where I start a question. And then I jump over there and I try this, I try that tool. I don't know which one will be creating the most change, but I'll start somewhere. And then I show them how I do, and then what happens. And they're like, yeah, it's almost like, but that wasn't perfect from the beginning. No, of course, exactly not. I love it. I was like, yes, this is how it works.
That's awesome.
I had a lot of fun with that. I was like, yeah, but they show you wherever you want to go. But I also get, we're trained to not want to be wrong. And I kind of get it, but I've done enough of that, but it's so much easier with animals.
Totally. Totally. They definitely have, they just give you all of that in one shot. I just love, there's certain exercises, of course, that we can do during these classes, and every class is different, and it always depends on who shows up and the questions they have and what they would like to get out of this class. But there are some exercises that we can do where you really get a totally different side of yourself when you are working with a horse that way. I had this one lady. The exercise was simply to get a horse to lunge around you on a lunge line, and this person had never worked with a horse before in their life, and so it's so interesting to watch them try to accomplish a task, and then the way they approach it. And this person started begging the horse, please go. And I said, okay, so what do you do? Like, she was an office manager. And I said, well, is that how you work with your people? Do you beg them to do something for you? And she's like, oh God, yeah, I do, And so it's so interesting to see how really truly it shows you how you're showing up in life and how you're managing things around you and how you're handling things around you. And the horse is just there. And the horse will just basically not really reflect, but it will really do what you're asking for. And depending, of course, how you ask for it, if you're begging the horse will just look at you like, what do you want? Like, I don't understand what this is. You know, they don't understand someone begging them to move around them in a circle.
No.
No, that's not a clear ask. You know, that's some weird energy, and they're just looking at you, going, "Huh, what do you want?" And they just stand there. So it's really fun in that sense to see for yourself too, how you approach a task. You know, something you haven't done before.
Yeah, no, it is fun. And if you don't judge yourself, it becomes really just a reflection as you see, where am I now? And what I would like to, because most people have like certain, not always clarity where they are, but definitely a little bit where they're heading. And but the fun they always don't always match, so you can get there. I remember one class we didn't even get to launching; we just walked a horse, and almost all of them had never been with a horse. But it was so interesting because they also saw, because the horse energetically connected with what they were choosing. Not they weren't saying so much to the horse, "Let's go," and they're like, and the horse wouldn't move. It was hilarious. Or one of them was really confused, looking down all the time. So the horse's head came closer and closer to her, looking down at the grass, and it was almost, they were almost tripping over each other. I'm like, she's like, "Hey, just raise your head," and the head went up on her, and the horse went up too. Like, "What are we going now?" And it was fun to see, because she was then really basically showing where you're heading, where you're leading people, but by not being clear or having where you're really going, it got confusing for the horse too. And that is what we're doing in life as well. The horse will never judge you to be doing anything wrong, and that's what I love, because here you get so much. I love the awareness you can get about yourself, and there's no judgment. There's
Yeah.
like no judgment, and if there is from people in class, we do change that, because that's not required to be there, because it's really just awareness. But the horse are like, "Are you changing? Okay, I'll go with this. I'll go with that." Or what are we doing now? So it's really fun, because they will never have a point of view about it.
No.
Sometimes they just don't want to do it anymore. That's fine too. They have also choice.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that's really the amazing part about this, is the second you change, the animal changes too. You know, the second the lady lifts her head up and goes, "Oh," the horse goes, "Oh." They don't hold on to it. They don't hold on to that and go, "Well, a minute ago you were doing that, so now I'm going to keep doing that." No, the horse just goes with the energy that shows up in that moment, and if it changes, the horse goes, "Oh, that's what you want. Okay, cool. I'll go with that." So yeah, that's beautiful.
And I think when you see it so clearly, you kind of also can also understand yourself, also how it is with people, although they will not necessarily say that or show it as clearly as a horse. But you will, when you start leading the energy, you will see things are showing up much more ease when you're clear, when you're like what
Hmm.
you're saying, congruent. And when you are aware what you're choosing, it becomes much easier with everything. And that's something I absolutely like. And also knowing, like, we don't have to judge. It becomes much easier not judging, but we're so used to it as well.
Yeah.
So sometimes the space of having no judgment is so beautiful. So beautiful. I remember one three, like these 3-day body facilitators. I had one in class, and we did body work on the horses as one of the things that we also do in a conscious horse, conscious rider class. And when we had a little break and just talked about the experience and how we perceived it, she was standing like, "I must say, this is, I think, the first time I've done body work with a body that doesn't have a point of view."
Hmm.
She was like, "This is a different space, something we know we'd like to be. We have more or less." And she was just amazed by also, of course, the processes and what they create and what she knew about body process as well. But it was a beautiful hearing from her, because she does have a lot of experience within the field. And I was like, huh. It's pretty cool to see the different things that show up, and we have, I can say, the conscious course, right? I'm so amazed that it's like 3-4 classes within one class, where I'm like, it's pretty damn full on, and it's incredible, because it's simple. Together they become this amazing contribution to each other. Where I'm amazed, it's like, it is a communication class, animal communication class for me. It is a leadership training, if we're heading there with the questions. It is talk to the entities mini class. It was something I would say there's like mini classes. And then we have the body work mini class. So we have so many classes, and then you learn one of the amazing tools. There's so many, but asking questions. And you'll see when you ask questions, because the funny part is, for me, when you ask a question to an animal, you kind of know they don't answer the same way I ask the question. They don't go, yes, Lisa, I like that, and blah, blah, blah. Well, some do, but not verbally as I talk. No? So we know that. So we then like, okay, how do they work the questions if I ask? Yeah, I have so much fun with these asking questions with animals because it is simpler than you think, but our head doesn't believe it before you do it. And when you start asking a question, you'll see the animals like, oh, they're really asking a question. I'm like, and then the animals also connect to you, and it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. I'm thrilled by these tools. I'm so grateful. I'm like,
Well, and I'm actually excited to come to Spain, Lisen, because I've seen some pictures of when you had classes there, and I think that venue is really, it's kind of, I mean, I don't know, the energy there feels really, really inviting, and I'm excited to go. Also, because a lot of times when we go to a brand new place with these classes, sometimes it takes a class or two for the people that are owning the place or owning the horses to kind of see that, oh, this is not just all woo woo, because that's the fun part
yeah,
too, people that are around horses. And by the way, you don't have to be a horse person to come to this class, but the people that own the horses in these classes, they can see the change that the horses go through, and that's usually, to them, that's usually like, whoa, because they may listen to this and maybe their first exposure to access, and they might
yeah.
sort of crinkle their head and go, what is this stuff, but then they see the animal change and they're like, whoa, wait a minute, what is this? So my experience is it usually takes at least a day to get them on board, and sometimes it takes a class or two. So I'm excited to come to a place where they've already been exposed,
I think
where
there's been
we're not
three.
starting from scratch.
No, we're not. I think they've had 3 conscious horse rider classes there. One was
Cool.
not me, that was another person. And then I've had other access classes there. But the fun part was one of the classes I so remember. I was trying to explain something. I don't know if it was, oh, I think it was body work. And the horse who were holding one took a couple steps and just bit the manual. Come on. And I was like, I'm not waiting. I'm like, can you just wait? I need to explain that. And they're like, and it was hilarious. So they are a bit used to it and they love it. And I'm really grateful for going there. The people also there are very happy that we're coming. And they even said after, I think it was my first or second, I think my first class, they were like, you guys are so different. You're so happy. And they had such a joy having us there. And I've been there a lot, so they know me very well. And we basically have the hotel for us. We have the place, and also the land is really nurturing. And we also, if we'd like to, there's some space to ride as well. Not the classes have nothing to do with horse riding. So you don't have to have a horse, you don't have to ride before, nothing at all. But you also have the possibilities of getting on a horse and riding out there in Andalusia. That is absolutely beautiful. Even with no prior experiences or knowledge of riding, you can go there. And then there's also possibility of sessions and a lot of other stuff. But so we're having, Suzy and I are co-facilitating for the first time. I'm really excited.
Me too.
So we're doing a 2.5 day conscious horse country rider class. Then we have a day off, and that day I think everybody's going to start riding a lot, at least. During class, there is a little bit in the mornings, something. We'll see the schedule. But the day in between the next class, you can definitely go out riding, and we'll have some amazing things going on. Then we have a 3-day conscious horse country rider facilitators training with Suzy and the horses. And all the other animals that are there, because there's dogs, there's sheep, there is I don't know what else there is at the moment. So I think a lot of them will show up with Suzy to contribute to the class. I will not be surprised if they do a lot of fun stuff with us. And then we have another day that is day off, that you can enjoy your life or go riding. And you can also, hiking is very popular in this area. It's a natural park, so it's just nature and it's alive, and I love it. And then we have a 2-day class essay with horses. The training that is the conscious country rider facilitator training is for everybody that is a CF. You don't have to have done any other classes. I just want to mention it. But if you're not a certified facilitator in access, you can't attend that class. I just want to make that a little bit clear. And if you have a question with that, we'll do a little bit more in depth with that with Suzy too. But I wanted to talk with you as well, Suzy, with the essay class, because I've done essay extravaganza with you. And I love the way you work. I was talking to Yasadara about the way you work with bodies. I've seen you since day one working on people in class. That was amazing. And sometimes I was like, told to yesterday, I don't even know if you know how good you are, but I think you know quite a bit. But it's like, it was so natural. I looked at like, you're just one with the body in no time. And I was like, that's beautiful. That is a gift. And
Thank you.
when you work with horses, you're welcome. And with you work with horses, for me, there's no difference when you work with humans or horses. I see that it's the same, and maybe it's sometimes even easier for you. So I just wanted to ask you, if somebody doesn't know what essay is, can you explain a little bit? Because I've seen it, I can talk from my perspective, but I would love to hear your take on it as well.
Well, to me, SE is basically a combination of the Access body work with some type of molecular movement, so to speak. To me, SE is not static in the sense that you are not just asking an energy to run, you are engaging with the molecules of the body and you are playing with that engagement and you're asking the molecules of the body to do something for you, or it's not just for you, but of course for the body itself. But you're really inviting the body to create a different space that wasn't there before. And so Essie has a little bit more physical engagement to me that way, just because to me the molecular connection is a little bit different. And it's a little, well, it's hard to explain it, and yet the energy when people are, this is the part that makes me really, really happy, is that because now there are so many people that have done SE, that now when you're introducing the energy, people really just get it and they have it and they do it. Whereas in the beginning, I felt like I kept explaining and trying to explain, and it just, people were still going, what is it? What is it? And it was extremely frustrating to me, because of course if you are trying to show somebody something and they keep saying, well, I don't get it, it's really frustrating. And so now it's at a point where people are like, whoa, this is cool, I know what I'm doing. And I'm always so grateful, because it's just so much fun. And the horses are really so cool, because a horse, we talked about being energetically congruent, and with their body they are so congruent. It's, if you are touching them with an energy they don't enjoy or they don't desire or require, they just walk away. And so, if you touch a horse with an energy and you're working on their body and they enjoy it, you will know that. Whereas with people, a lot of times you're not sure, does my person enjoy this? You can always ask them, but with the animals, it's a very different experience, because it's literally like, yep, you're working on them and either they like it or they don't, and they'll let you know.
They will let you know. But also one aspect I saw as well, because if you talk to a person, you can get reassurance of what they say. But when you work with animals, you do also have to trust yourself. And I thought it was really awesome to look at that, because they will show you directly, definitely, but it's so easy that people go and just doubt that it works, even if the horse shows you. And this is where I'm like, what if you learn to follow that energy and know for you what works? But you are, like, just for the people that have never heard about SE, we are touching horses, right? We are working with
Yes.
their body full on.
Absolutely, yes. In this class, there is really, the body work is all about the horse. So we are touching horses pretty much all day long. We will start the class with touching each other and just a little bit of an introduction, but then it's all about the horses. So yes, you get to play with horses all day long.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I'm also excited because I have two places with horses there that I can use for the classes. One is from the hotel, but then there's another stable, and those horses are very different in their energy. So I'm very excited to see what we do with the different horses as well, because some are trail horses and others are just they're not trail horses, so they have a different energetic intensity sometimes, or presence. And I'll see to also that we're allowed to play with all of them. That's where my horse is as well. But they're usually so happy when I come, because they see we contribute. So they don't really understand so much English, the guys, but they see us doing it and they see what happens with the horses. The first time he said like, I don't understand what you're doing, and then he didn't want to say anything more. And once I came into the field, it was really funny. He comes up to me because I'm standing in front of a horse where I'm like, what's going on here? And then I'm standing there just for a long time and just like asking questions, being present. And Raul comes up to me, what's the horse saying? And I was like, what? I've never heard an acknowledger say that to me in that way. I'm like, and then I just like spit out what I was going on. He's like, yeah, he's having this and this problem. I'm like, okay, they're just getting it. They're getting it. But they're living with the horses. So for them, verbalizing things have not been the way they do it, but they're very aware of it when they come to that. And that's a beautiful thing to see. You come from different approaches, but you kind of have similar things when you look at the horses and when they work with them. So I'm very excited to go there and see what happens when we're there, playing with different tools as well. The manager was, can I be a horse during the essay class? And I was like, maybe. That was so cute because when I explained what we're doing, she's like, oh, that sounds amazing. And it's really amazing also to work with the horse. It's going to be their little spa days, so we can see what we can do. But and again, you don't have to have a horse to have any other knowledge before to come to the essay class. You can come there and get to know all of the things. I think there's a prereq for that class, though. It's a foundation class, right, Suzy?
Correct.
Yeah, cool. So Access Consciousness Foundation, this is Bars class first, and then there's a 4-day foundation class if you're doing them live. We don't have that in Spain, but if you don't know what that means, you can always connect with me and I will give you my information about that. And let's just give us some information. I forgot. When are we there? I just said October. We'll put it in the video as well, but it starts with the 15th of October with an evening class for the Conscious Horse, Conscious Rider. And those are 2.5 days. And then we have the facilitators training from the 19th to 21st. And then I'm counting 23rd, 24th of October is the essay class with Suzy. So we have a couple of days in Spain, and it's a beautiful place. And we are full on in nature. It's just nature. It's a natural park with people living there, very natural, like really connected to the place and to, you're going to see it. We're going to have fun there. So if you guys have questions, you can with us. And thank you, Suzy. I'm excited to meet you in Spain.
Yeah, thank you. I'm excited to come to Spain.
And the class will be in English, just for you guys to know. I've got a lot of questions in what language we will facilitate, because both of us speak German, English, and I don't know what else language we speak together, Suzy, but energy, I guess, the dark language.
I think you have a lot more to choose from. For me, it's just English and German. I know you have a few more to choose, but yes, we are speaking English, and let us know if you need translation, because we are open to getting translators there. As a matter of fact, I can tell you now that we're definitely having German as one of the languages. So if you are interested in German, you got it.
Sehr gut. Oh, thank you so much, Suzy. Thank you.
Well,
thank you, everybody.
thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.